Hey guys, welcome back to Back to School Week here on my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you our homeschooling room, which typically changes drastically year to year, except for this year. I finally feel like I've figured out the best use of this space. So I know that not everybody has a homeschooling room, dedicated homeschooling room. For us, when we bought this house 8 years ago, this is kind of like a family room. We have a living room, you know, hangout area. This room was kind of awkward for us to figure out because there's a sliding glass door that leads out to the pool on one side, a door that leads into the utility room and garage on the other side, and then the entrance to the hallway. So there is no full wall, you know, there's no place to really put furniture. And so we were like, you know what, we were gifted a homeschooling space when we bought this house. And so this is a combination homeschooling room slash almost like a den. It kind of feels like a den. Like when we have company over, we'll sit at this table and hang out. But when the kids, you know, when it's just a normal weeknight as a family, we'll be sitting at this table playing games, or we'll come in here and read books or what have you. There's no TV in here. There's no computer in here. It's kind of like a little nook. So it's also the first room you see when you walk into our house. So it's very important to me that it is presentable at the same time, so I don't have like neon colored posters on the wall, you know, like hundreds charts and things like that, because it's also a part of our main living space here at the house. So that added a little bit of awkwardness when I was decorating it, but it actually ended up working out good in the end because I'm very pleased with it. So like I said, this usually changes year to year, and this year it did not. I feel like that is just a testament to the fact that I finally stayed true to myself with how I want this room to be instead of trying to make it trendy. So it didn't change much. The only thing that did change were a couple of details like wall hangings. Organization is still the same, although I will go through it even though I showed the same thing last year, just so that you guys can see it if you didn't see last year's video. And then also I got this fun new light fixture and switched all of our lighting out to be like amber lighting or yellow lighting in the house. So I'll go into that in more detail later on in the video. I'm not gonna make you wait any longer for it. Here is our homeschool room tour for the 2021-2022 homeschool year. I will put as much as I can down in the description box down below if you are looking for any links to specific items. And don't forget that every video this week has a giveaway from a homeschooling mom-owned business, and today is no different. So keep an eye out for that giveaway in today's video. All right, here we go. Okay, welcome to our homeschool room. I'm gonna start you right around the corner here. Over here we have our essential oils, and then down here I have this shelf which has our morning menus and then the kids' chore checklists. So this is all a part of our morning routine. And then they have a chore chart hanging up in the kitchen so they know when it's their day to do each of those things. And then we'll move on to the main part of the schoolroom over here. So we're gonna get started on a really real foot right away because I have this chalkboard over here. I'm gonna list our schedule for the first few days of school so the kids are kind of used to seeing the schedule as we walk through our new schedule. Since I've changed it this year, I have the markers hanging over there. But this sits in front of this situation back here, which is a big tote bag full of activity books. So the kids love the Usborne activity books, and they all have coloring books and things. And so I've just got tons and tons of them in that big canvas tote back there. And then I also have my CD player just sitting on top of it for audiobooks. So that chalkboard serves two purposes. One, helping with schedule. Two, hiding a bin full of books. Over here we have our bookshelves, and I will walk you guys through what's on each shelf. I'm a little unprepared for this video, so we'll see what I find as we go along. I'll probably find some surprises. You'd be surprised with how much you discover when you take an HD camera to your shelves. So let's see. I haven't organized these this summer. So over here we have our poetry books. This is where I keep different books for poetry tea time, as well as different nature guides and nature books. So it's like a mix, half poetry, half nature books. Down here, this is the shelf that is overpacked, and I probably need to find more space for these books somewhere because these are two rows deep here. But I do love historical fiction and just historical nonfiction. History is the subject that I would say confidently we do best in our homeschool, especially when it comes to pairing books with it. So I have tons and tons of historical books here, but I mean, technically I guess I could pull off the books that are like from ancient history since we're in modern history, but I like to have them out. I like to grab them sometimes and I don't want them to be put away. So this is my influencer shelf full of things I feel like I should own as an influencer. Just kidding, kind of. Really, this is just a bunch of wooden toys. I like to keep these out for Annie, who is in preschool, and then also a couple of things for my older kids. So I used to cycle things in and out of this shelf, but I just decided to keep it all out because I'm pretty bad with remembering to take things away and replace them on this shelf. So it's a little cluttered, but it serves its purpose, which is what is most important. So I have this hundreds board from Treasures from Jennifer, as well as the pieces that go to it back here. I've got another, like a lacing board from Treasures from Jennifer as well. These wooden letter boards are from Explore Toys, and these are the pieces that go with that. I also have the yarn that goes with this tracing board there. I've got this rainbow block set, as well as these Montessori wooden puzzles, which I love, and I think all of these things are listed in my Amazon store. And then I also have this arithmetic wheel from Myra's Toys and all of the different wooden coins that go with that. So, and then I have this A is for Art from Simply Charlotte Mason. Down here are all of my pretty Usborne Lift the Flap books. This is my favorite collection of books in our house. I love these Lift the Flaps so much. And then I have some early readers down here. So we've got some early, preschool, early elementary books from Usborne, as well as the First Reading Library, the Hey Jack books, which are great. I actually need to get these to a girlfriend who's borrowing them. And then the Magic Treehouse books, which have proven themselves useful time and time again for my younger readers as they are getting comfortable with chapter books. So I have all of those down there. Up at the top here, this is something new. I used to keep our calendar up here, but I decided to move some of our nature shelves around. So I made this like our nature display case up here. This used to have the same, spacing as the rest of our shelves, but I took this shelf out to make more space, and then I actually lost the shelf, so now it has to be this big. And so I struggled with what to fill this with, but I think this is perfect. So this is Eli's moon chart. We put that up there. This is from Myra's Toys as well, this moon, phases of the moon and full moon wheel from her shop on Etsy. I will link that down below. I have our nature shelves here full of things that they've found in nature, and then a couple of their nature projects from Exploring Nature with Children last year. So I have their moss art and these nature lanterns. And then this is Eli's Edison light bulb. And here's a funny story. John drilled a hole back there for me to plug this in. One day I was kind of rearranging the schoolroom this summer, and I really wanted a place for this Edison bulb because he used this for his history project, and I thought we could really use some more lighting on this side of the room. And John stopped what he was doing. This is such an embarrassing homeschool mom story, but he stopped what he was doing to drill a hole in the back of this shelf for me so I could plug this in behind the wall. And I literally cried because I felt so seen. Like, you would stop what you're doing just to drill a little hole in a shelf for me. And it made all the difference in the world to me. So as silly as that sounds, like that really just made me feel seen by him, that he just stopped what he was doing, because that's totally a project that you can just be like, oh yeah, we'll do that later. But he totally just stopped. He had the tool with him. He was working on our bathroom at the time. He was like, oh yeah, let me just drill a hole for you real quick. And it made this whole thing come to life. So I'm very excited about this. Those shelves are in my Amazon store as well. Down here, this is a hodgepodge of stuff down here. So this is all of our 5 in a row books and the 5 in a row manuals. And then I have these graphic novels from Usborne that the kids love, some math books, and then these are dictionaries, the thesaurus, encyclopedias, things like that. So I've got that over here. Down here are all of our subscription boxes. My kids have the hardest time parting with their Kiwi crates and Tinker crates once they complete the project, so we'll put them back here until they're done playing with it or messing around with it, and then we'll get rid of it. But I need to go through and get rid of some of these things, the Young, Wild, and Friedman boxes, and then the My PreK box, which happens to be today's giveaway. Today's giveaway is from Lindsay at My PreK Box. Lindsay is the owner and founder of My PreK Box. She has a background in early childhood and elementary education, and she's now a stay-at-home mom, and she considers this to be her passion work. And you can tell how much she loves this because these boxes get cuter and cuter every single month. You guys have seen me share about My PreK Box since last fall when Annabeth and I started using them, and they have just been so helpful for me with her because, especially being the youngest of 4, I desire to do fun preschool stuff with her, but I just cannot find the time to prep activities, to print things, to laminate them, and this just comes ready to roll. Bonus, there's an optional Craft Lovers upgrade that comes with 2 additional fun crafts if you have a crafty little one like I do. With My PreK Box, you'll enjoy engaging hands-on learning through the power of play, and you and your kids can laugh and bond together, screen-free to foster a lifelong love of learning. The ultimate preschool learning boxes are packed with fun, engaging, no-prep math, literacy, sensory, and craft activities. And how adorable is this camping box? So Lindsay is offering this camping box to 3 winners. This camping box is no longer available on her website, so that's an exclusive giveaway for 3 of you. And if you subscribe by August 27th, you'll receive September's farm box. I also have a couple of promo codes for you that I'll put down below. There's one for $5 off your first box, and then there's also a great promo code that gives you your first box free if you do a 6 or 12 month plan. So make sure you take advantage of that. Thank you so much, Lindsay, for partnering with me on today's giveaway and offering these 3 boxes to 3 winners. I have really enjoyed receiving these boxes from you every month. It's been such a blessing for Annabeth and I to just have this no prep, ready to roll, fun activity to do together. Sometimes we will use this and blow through it in a week, and then most often what we do is we'll do an activity here or there, maybe pair a book up with it and spread it out over the course of a month. And it's just a special way for she and I to bond when she especially wants to do a ton of school and I just don't feel like I have anything available to her. So this works best for ages 3 to 5. It's really not intense. It doesn't feel like I'm pushing academics on her. It really is just a gentle way to approach learning, which is the thing that I love the most about My PreK Box. So thank you so much, Lindsay. Good luck, you guys. The info is in the description box down below to enter today's giveaway. Like I said, there are 3 winners, and don't miss those promo codes to receive next month's farm box. So thank you so much, Lindsay, for that giveaway. I'm really excited to see who wins. Good luck, you guys. All the info is in the description box down below. Before I move on to the next shelf, I should mention I have 3 Audubon prints at the top there, 3 different bird prints from Rustic Homemade on Etsy. I've got just a bunch of stuff up there that we're gonna need for our first couple of weeks of school that really didn't have another place. Up here I have some assigned readers and read alouds that we've enjoyed. I like to pull from these shelves whenever my kids need a suggestion, so I've got 2 shelves of that. This is not a dictionary, that is Jessie's Bank. That's one of the things that I would have pulled off the shelf had I prepared better for this video. It's like a hidden bank, you know. I like to display whatever books we're reading, so I had these books out for the 4th of July, so I need to change that around, but I like to have 1 book display shelf just to advertise reading. I've got some more Usborne nonfiction books over here, so I have these different Shine a Light books, and then the very first questions and answers series, the Look Inside series, the Usborne Beginners books, and then the Peek Inside books, and then the 100 Things and just some different science nonfiction books. And then down here, please don't tell Charlotte, these are my twaddle shelves. So this is just a bunch of random picture books that my kids, or like chapter books too, that my kids just really enjoy, and I don't want them all over the house, so I just keep them on the shelf. It is our twaddle shelf, and I don't hate twaddle, so if you're a Charlotte Mason purist, sorry. All right, moving on. Here is a table where we do most of our schoolwork. This table is well loved. It has seen its day for sure. I know John could easily sand it down and refinish it, but I'm having such a hard time with it. There's a lot of stories and friendship that have happened at this table over the years. So I know it could use a fresh coat of something, but it's got character in my mind. Here is my morning basket, which I showed you guys the other day. I've got pencils and pencil grips here. This timer is from Target. It's a 15-minute timer, so keeping with the short 15-minute lessons idea in our homeschool, this is a really helpful timer for us to have. This Stay Wild My Child sign is from, this is one thing that's new this year. This is from Etsy. I don't remember the name of the shop. It was, I think it's birchwood. John stained it for me so it would match the rest of the room. Over here, we've got some new Cavallini prints for the year. Hold on while I get set up here. So I switch these Cavallini prints out every couple of months, and so we are going to be doing a 5 in a row unit that involves us doing butterflies. So I hung this one up, and then I hung this up just for the start of nature journaling for the school year. I've kept the phases of the moon print up. I keep this one up all year round because we try to check on the moon phases and what full moon it is and all of that every month. So I just like to keep that up. And then this is something I had been looking for a very long time. So this is a printing drawer from an old printer. So this would be, we actually saw this when we were in Williamsburg this summer in use, so it gave it even more character. I had been looking at antique shops, looking online, couldn't find it, and then when I went away on my mother culture retreat, there was a little antique shop tucked away in the middle of the state, and they had 2 of these drawers. It is I think it's Hamilton is the brand name, and I had John hang it up this way for us to display our shelves. I thought maybe we could display more nature stuff on it, but the shelves are pretty shallow, so the shelves work perfectly, and I would say of anything we find in nature, we find shelves the most anyway, living in a beach town, so I thought it gave a unique spin to the wall here. And then I used to have those nature little house shelves that I have on the bookshelf. I used to have that over here before, but I just felt like it made this wall look way too busy, and I really wanted this wall to look a little bit more simplified, especially with the posters that we change out constantly. So I'm very excited with this. This is one of my most favorite things in the schoolroom. So good things come to those who wait. And then, like I said, I've got the other Cavallini print over there, and I'll show you in a little bit where I store all of the Cavallini prints. Around the corner here, right next to those prints, is where I have all of this curriculum and school supplies and things. So I will start up here. Well, first of all, I have an old-fashioned pencil sharpener. John drilled that into that for me. And then up here, I have this wire hanger. This is from IKEA. And I just took everything down from the shelf from last school year, so we start fresh, but it does get pretty bulked up during the school year. I have this punctuation sign hanging there now, and then I also took this and cut it off of my Simply Charlotte Mason bag. It's just narration questions, and I thought I would like to have that hanging up in here. I've got some of our different letter subscriptions up there, a box of different reading flashcards, and then construction paper up there because my kids use it way too much, so I just like them to ask me for it because they blow through it. Up on this top shelf, I've got some individual whiteboards, a eraser. This is a bag of stickers. These are just rocks we use for manipulatives and math sometimes. This has all of the little hooks for that wire hanger that I just showed you, as well as some push pins. Here is the treasure box I showed you in my school supply haul the other day, and I will show you what I have in there in a little bit. This used to be what I used as like a treasure box, but this has all of our markers. Here are some books that are waiting for us to rotate through in our morning basket. I didn't want to lose track of them, so I have those up here. And then I have all of these little buckets of school supplies. So I've got glue and glue sticks and hot glue. This is a bunch of washi tape for planning, bunch of, I was doing so well with not losing my thoughts while I was filming. Filming can be like a really hard monologue sometimes. You just like lose simple words. Paintbrushes, there it is. So there's paintbrushes here. I've got some scissors, which I need to go find the rest of our scissors. They are missing. We've got highlighters and Sharpies in there, colored pens, black and blue pens. We've got some specialty crayons in here, and then I've got some regular crayons over there. Although the kids have their own crayons, that's more so for when we have people over. And then colored pencils down there. And then down here, Rochelle from Simply Charlotte Mason, she talks about having nature journaling supplies ready and available. I actually already had this shelf set, or this basket set up last year, but I was just a little more intentional with putting everything in it this year. So I've got their nature journals and some different watercolor papers. I've got their pocket microscopes in there, these nature find and seek cards, and then their watercolor colored pencils as well. And then down in a bag down on the floor, I've got all of our actual watercolors and stuff to make it accessible. But this just keeps it in one place. Oh, I actually also have their brush drawing back there, but this keeps it in one place so that if we go out nature journaling, it doesn't take more time to go find our stuff. I've got my planner here, our calendar here. This is probably the #1 question I've gotten on my channel over the years. This is from Explore and Toys. It's been out of stock for like 3 years, but I'm sure there's something similar on Etsy. And then over here I have, well, just these supplies, but then I also have teacher's guides for things, and I will show you where I'm keeping the kids' curriculum in a minute. But I've got just some different nature books and handcraft and holiday books. I've got all the different teacher's guides, Exploring Nature with Children guides, reading guides, geography, history, things like that. This down in here is not YouTube worthy. It's just my extra stuff storage, different manuals that we may or may not be using, some random supplies and things like that that I don't want to leave this room so it's not forgotten. Our scrunch maps, things like that, things that should be hidden behind a door. In here is where I keep all of our, this used to be a buffet. John painted it all for me, but I guess this is where like a table would have been, like a table you can extend out. I can't really think of what that would have been for. I think that's what it is. I think my grandma had one of these and there was like a table tucked into there. Maybe, I don't know. But this is where I keep all of our posters and charts and like world maps and things like that. There's all my Cavallini prints down in there, and it's great to have it in there, and I can pull the map out when we're doing 5 in a row or when we need a map and it doesn't go too far. I have our art poster from Cavallini that's always hanging up there. And then I love this. This is another one I need to clear off to start the next school year, but it's this tapestry that came with these little clips. And again, this is in my Amazon store. If you're looking for it, I think it was only like $10. This is where we display our letter from the month or any art that the kids have been working on that they don't want to hang up on that wire shelf. So this is where we keep like our heritage letter and our writings from the wild and all of that. I wanted to mention one more thing that was not in last year's video. This is my favorite light in my house. I totally stole this idea from one of my girlfriends who has a similar one. I love this light. It's just the hanging Edison bulbs. It looks like rope that they're hanging from. You adjust it to hang at the height you want. Since we don't have cathedral ceilings, I had to adjust it up pretty small, but I think it's a cool look. Our light for this room used to be over. We had an electrician come and move it because we changed this whole room around after we bought the house. We extended our kitchen out a little ways and we moved the tile out, so the center of the room is no longer that. We kind of made it more of an L shape. But I really love this light so much. It gives such a fun character to this room, so I wanted to be sure to mention that before I move on. So back behind that door is our like utility room, game storage room. I'm actually gonna link the video up here if you guys wanna see my homeschool game storage, because really our homeschool storage extends beyond this room. This is just the functional room and a lot of our storage is out there. So I'll link that video so you can see where we keep all of our games and logic toys and manipulatives and things like that. But also in that room is where we have a countertop with a computer. And then we also keep these back in there right now until I find a better space. But I saw this idea from my friend who has an Instagram and a YouTube called The Intentionalish Mama. I saw her do this either in the beginning or middle of last school year. And I made a mental note until we started a new year. We had a bunch of these 3-tiered carts that we no longer needed. I just had the one in my schoolroom that was an art cart, so it's a different color, but John said he would take this to his spray shop guy and have them spray it all the same color. I just haven't decided what color yet. But this is how the kids are keeping their individual curriculum now, so it's not all on this shelf over here making a mess. So at the top, they all have their different narration notebooks. They have 2 different narration notebooks, and then they have their planners and their Bible journal. And then they'll also, once we have our first day of school, they'll also put their crayons and stuff, their pencil cases at the top there. And then we've just got a bunch of individual subjects on the middle shelf and the bottom shelf. And I just thought that this would be so perfect for them to keep the books they're reading. Like Bella will usually be reading like a book of choice as well as a YWAM book, so it would be great for her to just put them in there. And then Jesse usually has a book he's reading, and then like a Dogman book too, so he'll put that in there. And that way everything can just stay in one place. It's almost like lockers, you know, like they can just keep their stuff in there. So I thought that that was really helpful. Things like this, the do-a-dot markers for Annie, and her like do-a-dot pages and things that I would maybe lose sight of. It's helpful for that to all be in the same place. And then Bella's got a bunch of individual subjects this year, so that's really helpful for her as well. So that is the plan for storing curriculum this school year. That way they can roll it with them wherever they're working. They all have desks in their rooms as well. A lot of them like to work at the dining room table. They love to go work on the floor in the living room. So that would just make it like easier for them to work as they want without having to come back in the room and grab their stuff constantly, and just keeping everything in one place and just giving them a little bit of responsibility so it's not all on me to find their stuff. Like for example, Jesse's using oh man, that's a tongue twister. Jesse's using Language Well and Spelling Wisdom Book 1, and Bella's finishing Book 2, and they look identical, so I'll pull the wrong one off the shelf all the time, and then it's just annoying. And you know, it's the little things, the little seconds here and there of having to go back to grab something that add up, and so it really is just helpful for them to all have their own cart. So that's what's going on over there. I think I forgot to show you my loom over there, but that's not really that big of a deal. See, I'm starting to have to use underneath the shelf space. I think ideally we need actual built-ins over here because we're running out of space, and I've really thinned out our stuff as much as possible. So I've got like the yarn for the loom underneath that shelf, and then over here I've got more Young, Wild, and Friedman boxes underneath that shelf too. So we're starting to get a little over full in here. So I will show you now what is in our treasure box. So I told you in my school supply haul video that I didn't know how I was going to be using our treasure box, but I have come to a conclusion. So this year I'm really trying to get the kids to work in their own planners, set up their schedules for the week as far as their independent work goes, so they can do some checklist style work, and that way they can work at their own pace as long as they get it done by Friday. And so my plan is to check their individual work, and as long as they have finished all their individual work by Friday, they can get into the treasure box. I think that's going to be the most beneficial way to do it. We also have friends over to homeschool quite a bit, so I wanted to keep this treasure box full of stuff that I could also use as rewards for like trivia games and review games as well. So I've got these fun scented pens in here as one thing. I've got a whole case of them. I've got some Hot Wheels in there. I've got all of this Play-Doh slime down in there, and then a bunch of these Dover little activity books, build your own sticker books. So these were all, everything in here was less than $2. Most of it was far less than $1, but I just wanted to give you a little peek inside so you could see what was going on in there. So I think that is it. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Make sure you go enter that giveaway in the description box down below, and I will see you back here tomorrow for the very last day of back to school week here on my channel. Bye guys.